the hot and techy Brezza, the city-bred SUV.
Well, that is a boss of a chase from the Rajasthan Royals. They have hammered the Mumbai Indians. They've done the double on them. A Yashasvi Jaiswal 100, just the icing on the cake in a game that was slightly delayed because of rain. That did not stop a storming team by Samson from cementing or consolidating their place further at the top of the IPL points table. And the questions continue to come in for the Mumbai Indians about their tactics, about what they do in game. And it's getting hotter and hotter for Hardik Pandya in his comeback season as skipper of the Mumbai Indians. We unpack that game on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout in the company of Wasim, Jaffer, Mitchell McClenaghan, Tom Moody, two of whom said at halftime that this will be a Rajasthan Royals chase. But let's start with how good that chase was. And yes, Yashasvi Jaiswal, we've been expecting him, Wasim, in this IPL. He's finally turned up and in some style.
Yeah, it's more the Yashasvi Jaiswal we know. I think it took his time early on, played some conventional shot, and then we all know what he could do. And then how easily he got the 100. He has everything in his armory, but he just needed a little bit of time to bat out of that power play, which he did, and strike rate of 173. That's fantastic now. I mean, this is something which we want to see, how Yashasvi Jaiswal needs to play. I think those failures helped him to realize that this is how he needs to approach a T20 inning.
Pre-show today, we were saying, what's wrong with Yashasvi Jaiswal with the start that he's had? Nothing's wrong with Yashasvi Jaiswal, is there?
No, not at all. He is, the most exciting young player in world cricket at the moment. There's a couple out there, and he's right at the top of that conversation. All format player. How he's grown so quickly from sort of his under-19 journey to international cricket to IPL stardom is quite remarkable, and it's a privilege to watch as someone that loves the game, to be able to watch him play. There's nothing better than seeing him turn it on. Some of those cover drives today are just right out of the top drawer.
As Indian batters go in the IPL, of which you bowled to a number across different eras of the IPL, which come and go thick and fast, what stands out about Jaiswal and what makes him perhaps unique and that much harder to bowl to when he hits gears like he did today?
Yeah, look, more often than not, the guys who are harder to bowl to are the guys who can play the short ball, and Jaiswal can do that. So when we saw Coetzee come back after the new ball spell, which Coetzee challenged him, he really did challenge him, but when he came back, we saw how prominent he was off the back foot. The timing off the last ball of Coetzee's first over, back of a length punch it through the offside was exceptional as well. So, look, if you can play pace well, I think that's what sets the top Indian players apart.
He's done that twice, isn't it, to Mumbai. Last season also he got a big 100, even today. Against a good bowling as well, against Jasprit Bumrah. Quality knock.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot coming together for Rajasthan Royals this season, aren't we? Investing in Riyan Parag and seeing him become the player this year. Jaiswal was also an uncapped retention at the time, and now he's become this player. So credit to
he had two quiet seasons actually. He had two quiet seasons. They retained him. So did like Parag, and they're reaping rewards. So yeah, credit to them for sticking with those players.
And on the other hand, it seems like one franchise where very little wrong that they can do, even if they make mistakes like they did in the last few games. Brilliance is getting them over the line. On the other hand, are we seeing just a franchise with the polar opposite? Lots of mistakes, Tom Moody from the Mumbai Indians?
Yeah, lots of mistakes. You'd have to question the very first decision that was made, and that was at the toss. And that was electing to bowl first, where, more often than not you see teams want to chase in Jaipur, and whether it was just the way that Rajasthan batted, but it just appeared like it was a little bit easier in that second innings, not taking anything away from the way that Jaiswal batted and Samson batted and Butler batted. But, that to me was, a questionable decision. And there seems to be a lot of sort of questionable decisions. Hardik Pandya opening the bowling himself. Probably if you're looking at all the bowlers that are available to Mumbai, he'd be probably fourth, if not fifth in the list as that option to take the new ball. Why is he taking the new ball? And again, which we talked about in the halftime show, which was, his batting position. It seems odd where he's coming in and using himself as a batter. So they've got a lot to think through, Mumbai.
carry on with that because it's not a team associated with mistakes or these guys. They were normally tactically ruthless, but it's now no coincidence that the change in leadership is also seeing a number of these questions asked almost on a repeat basis on these games.
Yeah, maybe under pressure with where they are on the table. There's just slight amount of confusion and trying to chase the game with those decisions. Was a little bit confused around Hardik taking that first over. When you bring in an outswing bowler as an out-and-out bowler, I thought that would have been the option. And as well, what has worked well for Mumbai in the previous games is Gerald Corsia taking that first or second over. I think he's looked a different bowler when he's taken the brand new ball, and he's caught guys on the stickers who haven't got in and got set on the wicket and got used to the pace of the wicket by beating them for pace. And by the time Gerald Corsia came on today in the fourth over, both batters had been in, they got used to the pace of the surface, they'd had their siders, and so when someone comes in, he was bowling quick, he was bowling fast. By that time, the horse had almost bolted for the impact that he's had in the previous games. So it did catch me on the hop a little bit, and then also I didn't think that over of Gerald Corsia was the worst over.
The first one that he conceded.
Yes,
16.
he went for 16, but remember there was that one which completely beat Jaiswal on the short ball. He was nowhere near getting through that.
I mean, he went absent after that. Bumrah did not come back.
But he didn't bring him back, and he's one of your top. If you're going to take wickets, you need to use your wicket-taking bowlers to do that. Yeah,
Bumrah was the other one that went missing when that partnership between Samson Parag was developing. Without repeating ourselves, we are seeing these mistakes from the Mumbai Indians or these tactical errors. The captain's changed, but he still has Rohit Sharma there. He still has a number of the same support staff there. How much shall we scrutinize that aspect where Mumbai are not sharp on their game tactically with Nabi coming in it earlier today or the use of their bowlers? How much would you sort of read into whether the support staff is also not at their A game this season?
Well, there are some quality support staff, somebody who's world-class players in their time. So I don't know who's making the decisions, but there's definitely, they're not right on the mark, to be honest. It starts from the toss again. With the batting might that Mumbai has, you would look to chase whatever the opposition has put in front of you. Nihal Vadera, the way he's batting, you will feel why he hasn't played. Why you play Naman Dheer at the start, who's not played IPL at all, and you put him at number 3. So all those kind of things, and then batting position of Hardik Pandya again. When you want him to bat at number 3 or 4, he comes in at number 7 or 8, or sometimes he comes at 4 when he could send Tim David. So those kind of things, even today, bowling the first over, even after the rain, he came on and bowled himself first, rather than bowling Jasprit Bumrah or even Gerald Kudzi. So those are the things.
Might I also just point out what Hardik Pandya has said to the broadcast at the end of the game? He says, we put ourselves in trouble early on. Tilak and Nehal were fantastic. We didn't finish well, and that's why we were 10 to 15 runs short. We had to keep it within the stumps, but we gave a lot of width early in the power play. It was not our best day on the field. We did not put our best feet on the park. Everyone knows their roles. We need to rectify our mistakes and not repeat it. Individually, we need to accept our flaws and work on those. I don't believe much in chip and chop. I like to back players. Focus will be on good cricket, sticking to our plans. Any reading in between the lines? Is that an honest summation of the game?
Yeah. Oh, look, it's covered everything, but in a very how could I put it? Very conservative way.
Okay.
I think there's a lot more that will be discussed within that Mumbai camp around a lot of the points that he raised there around. The mistakes they're making, which we've talked about tactically, the mistakes they're making on the field with the drop catches, the selection, questionable selections that we've discussed over the past few weeks. And it's easy to sort of point a finger at a team that's losing a few games, but it's hard not to sort of, put a highlight append over a few things. One thing that I do find interesting, and I just wonder whether this has any bearing on some of the things that have happened from the bowling standpoint, and that is that, interesting enough, Shane Bond had spent a lot of time as bowling coach at Mumbai Indians. He's now at Rajasthan. And I'm not saying that's because Rajasthan's winning now, but my point is more around the work that he did as bowling coach. And I've never worked with Shane Bond. I know him personally, but Mitch, you've worked with him. But I just wonder whether his absence has been a significant miss with regards to how things are structured around their whole bowling performance. Because I know from people I've spoken to that he's extremely thorough in the way he goes about his business, and there's certainly no stone that's not unturned.
I mean, we can almost see the impact instantly for the Royals. On the other hand, with whether it was Berger and Bolt at the start of the tournament or the use of Sandeep Sharma, the form of Avesh Khan and the spinners, there seems to be order with the Royals, isn't there?
Yeah, small things. I've worked with Bondi since he started coaching, way back, maybe 2009, 2010, at one of the Champions Leagues, and been with him along his journey as a coach, and for me it was as a player, and with New Zealand and then with Mumbai for 6 years, and he's exceptional. He's exceptional. He's one of the benchmarks of bowling coaches in the world, and if not the best. Obviously, I haven't been coached by every bowling coach, but from every single person you talk to who's a bowler, more often than not, they have good things to say. Very diligent, very well planned, and he comes up with small little things that give you an advantage. If it's your angles, you get hit on this line 5 metres this way, you need to make sure this fielder's here, or to a bowler, to a batsman, he actually hits in the air through this area. The small adjustment.
I don't mean to interrupt, but even Hardik Pandya, the bowler, would have also spent time with Shane Bond, wouldn't he? At the time when Bond was at MI.
We spent a lot of time with him. So.
He's also spent time with Ashish Nehra last year. So you think this is a captain who should be well bred, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take James' point here. Can we talk about RR, please? It's not always about MI and CSK and RCB. Fine, no problem. I'd love to do that. Can the panel rate Sanju Samson's captaincy? MI could have made 200 plus, but how good was the death bowling today? Is that the difference?
I think so. I think they bowled really well. Sandeep and Avesh, I thought they nailed the Yorkers really well. They didn't allow even team player like Tim David or even Hardik for that matter. So that was top class bowling from them.
Anything to add on Samson, the captain, who's growing with confidence, stature, batting's great, keeping seems to improve, took a really good one today?
Yeah, I think he's been good. I think Sandeep stood up today in particular, and I guess what I liked about it is that if your captain's not in control of your players and doesn't have the respect of your players, then sometimes they don't come back after performing poorly in their first couple of spells. And what we saw from Avesh Khan today, he came back beautifully at the death. And that was, like Hardik spoke about, he said they didn't capitalise on those last couple of overs as well as they would have liked. And that was purely because Avesh came back and bowled so well. So that is also a reflection of Sanju's captaincy, and it's something that should be touched on.
Mevan Kalra asks, can Sanju be India's captain in the future?
Oh, gosh. He could be, but, whether he will be or not, he's got to get in the side first. That's probably the first step. I think he's been good with his captaincy. He's been good with his form with the bat. He's been good with his form behind the stumps. But I don't think it's a time or a place you start talking about Sanju Samson as an Indian captain. I think, get the first foot forward and get, selected into that World Cup squad and have an impact in playing for India on a consistent basis, and then you can have a conversation.
Yeah, I think there's a few mainstays there who would be above him in the pecking order. Say Surya Kumar Yadav, who's had a good series. Bumrah. So those two guys there.
KL Rahul's another one.
But you know what? We look at Hardik's own story of being almost jumping the queue as a result of IPL success with the Titans in 2 years. And it does influence the pecking order, doesn't it? If Sanju wins this or takes Rajasthan to the final, they've already been in one final a couple of seasons back against the Titans, ironically. But what would that do to his chances? The names they've mentioned, yes, they're all gunning for it and they're all in the eyes. How close can Sanju get if they go all the way this season?
No, I think he'll still be behind in the pecking order, for sure. You don't want to upset the guys who are ahead of him.
Yeah, but I think the most important
there's
thing...
a lot of keeping people happy.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Don't
though,
upset people.
Raunak, is that all the players ahead of him are in the team.
Yeah.
He's got to get in the team first.
There's Rishabh Pant as well. KL Rahul mentioned.
We sometimes pick captains first, then the team. Do you not know our history? Tom
You've
Moody?
asked the question and we've given the answer.
Okay, thanks very much, guys. You guys have asked the questions. They've given you the answer. All right, let's take a few more, shall we? Shall we say it's a KKR and SRH final or a KKR and RR final? We're looking at, well, certainly let's call it now. I mean, Rajasthan for a top 2 spot now, they'd have to do something remarkable to not finish, forget the playoffs, but not in the top 2, which is the next prize you can put your eyes on.
Yeah, they're looking the real deal, aren't they? But then again, they were looking the real deal last year at this stage, and they imploded. But I can't see that happening this year.
Yep.
I think there would have been lessons learnt from last year, but they're looking well organised. They've got a really nice balanced side that has the flexibility of still a couple of changes if they choose to make those changes on their overseas standpoint. Berger, who we saw at the beginning of the tournament, he could easily come into that side and make it even stronger. So they're in a happy place.
Yeah, and the KKR is a threat, but the real one who's surprising everyone is SRH. So I've got a feeling that they're going to be in that final.
It'd be nice to see a change over there. Some number of teams have not made the playoffs in recent years. If they make it there, should be fun. Let's take a few more very quickly. This is spicy from Death Rider 54. Nice to see all the Indian players from both sides smiling and laughing with each other at the end of the game, considering how uncompetitive the match was.
It was. It was a punishing defeat.
They do that anyway. I mean, irrespective of the result, players do meet and greet. So whatever happens, I think you leave it there.
Okay, the handle that comes up often with the Mandarin name. Remember I brought them up before? They always say something stunning. Time to make Bumrah the captain. Who's biting?
Well,
if at all you want to change, why not Rohit? He's an Indian captain.
Well, then you shouldn't have changed in the first place, but is it better to go
I don't think they'll go back to Rohit, would they?
Would you entertain the thought, if you were management, ownership, we're talking ownership, but with the, of course, guidance of this trusted management who's been there for a while, would you entertain the thought at this point?
I think it's difficult to change. You've made a massive decision. It's not just a change in captaincy. This was a big move because you're changing one of the most favourite captains of the IPL and certainly of Mumbai Indians that's got a remarkable record in Rohit Sharma. You've made that decision. I think going back on that decision, considering how big that decision was, I think will be a big move to make.
It looks like they've made the decision for a long-term outlook.
Right.
Because
they would be willing to bite the disappointment of one season if it so is to be with the way it's shaping up. We have seen captains change for a lot less than this at a number of franchises.
Yeah. I don't know. I know how much they want to win. But going into that next auction, was it more important for them to get Hardik back and build a squad around Hardik, Bumrah, and Surya? Potentially.
You must know, Mitch, how
I've got
badly
no idea. I've actually got no idea.
You must know how badly they want to win.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's
a proud franchise.
Yeah.
So we leave
a successful one is that.
Very well. Vijayender, earlier on Sandeep Sharma, we did a really nice analysis of Sandeep on our halftime show, but let's revisit it one more time because what a telling spell it's proven to be with how little impact, whatever the decision making, how little impact Mumbai seamers had, and Sandeep Sharma stands tall with his first 5-4. Let's go back to that. How good was that?
Very good. I mean, it was match winning. Obviously, Jaiswal got 100, but that was the effort that brought them into the game. Those wicket of Surya Kumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan early on, and then how good he bowled in the death also. So yeah, it was.
Please, I don't know if he or Jaiswal has been named player of the match. I think it is Yashasvi who's got it, which I think would be a bit harsh on.
Yeah, I think 5 for in that situation.
so.
He set the game up.
Okay, I can just correct myself. It is Sandeep Sharma,
Yeah,
which is lovely.
Yeah, that's good.
That is
I
the
think
right adjudication.
Pfeiffer is an incredible performance in a T20 game.
5 for 18.
But also where he took his wickets, he took them up front and then he took them at the end under pressure.
Brilliant.
So he got the bookends of the game absolutely nailed down. And it's such a good story. You know, he's a remarkable IPL cricketer. He was left on the auction table. No one took him. He then came in as a replacement player for Rajasthan at his base price, and he has been key to their success last year, even though they fell short, but certainly very important part of their campaign.
Don't see him going anywhere, I guess. And that too on his comeback game. Sometimes takes you a little time.
Yeah.
Hit your straps after you've been out for a while.
Yeah, well, it's a nice one because he would have come into this game confident. He's got a good record against Mumbai, particularly against a couple of their more senior players. So it's a nice one to come back to when you've done well against a team. If you're coming back and it was a team that's always had your number, then you're probably going to be a little bit more nervous.
Okay, quickly just taking the last couple. Piyush, guess we didn't get to see if RR would send Ashwin up the outer or not, with a little smile. However, the question on Ashwin's bowling and whether he's not making an effort to spin it and just darting it. And actually, we've done a lovely chat on Ashwin on the pre-show. Continues to be a difficult tournament for him with the ball, but would they keep winning? You just know that's not a problem for the Royals. So just revisit that chat since we're running out of time. What else do we have? A number of viewers not pleased that the panel did not bite and put Sanju Samson higher up on the pecking order. Just letting you know. And this is a good one from Vijayender to Tom. Is there a method for Tom to get his projected scores with such a high level of accuracy? Today he said 181 and we got a 179. Kudos to him, and I've seen him getting it close several times, says Vijayender.
Thank you, Vijay. I appreciate the support, mate. At times I get knocked a little bit by my colleagues, but yeah, look, it's just we're all taking a bit of a stab in the dark, aren't we?
Yeah.
Educated stab in the dark.
Okay, humble man. All right, that is where I thank you very much for those questions. There are a few beyond the game itself, which we've touched upon. Cricket Square wants to know if Fraser McGurk is someone Tom would pick in the squad. And he's given his views on that on our show after the Delhi game. So please head over there and check it out. And follow us on our social handles. We put some of the best work that these guys put out, which is a lot, on our ESPN Cricket Info social handles. Right, it is now time to go to a rapid-fire review. Jeez, it's 10 past midnight. So let's wrap this up, shall we? 20 seconds to sum this game up to each of you. Multiple questions. Let's start with you, Wasim. What made things fall back in place for Yashasvi Jaiswal? 20 seconds.
I think he went back to his normal game. He didn't took that many risks which he was taking early on in the games. I think he just played a lot of conventional shots, a lot of shots that he usually play, even in a test match. And then after that, he had his eye in. Then he went back to his ultra-aggressive game, and I thought that worked for him.
All right, time up. Thank you very much, Wasim. Mitch, rate Sandeep Sharma's 5 for 18 out of 10, and what stood out?
Yeah, it's probably close to a 10. 5 for 18 is exceptional. He hardly bowled a bad ball, if he did at all. I thought his lines, his lengths were exceptional. He challenged the batters to hit him in zones that they didn't want to hit, and his field placement was out of this world. It was exceptional. So that was high quality.
All right. Tom Moody, did Mumbai Indians once again hold Jasprit Bumrah back for too long?
Well, he bowled 2 early overs, but I think there was a point where Bumrah should have come back in, and again, forgetting about the fact you might need him for an over or 2 at the end, the game was being, taken away from them in that middle phase where Bumrah could have easily bowled 2 and tried to break the game open to bring Mumbai back into it.
Okay. Mitch, was it right... let's do that again. Was that the right call to promote Mohammad Nabi to number 5? 20 seconds.
Yeah, I can see why they did it. But when you promote someone, and as well as he did, 23 or 17, you also run the risk of your batters towards the back end not getting as many balls as you would like. And in that case, it was Tim David and Hardik who missed out on those deliveries. Okay.
Wasim, do you expect now to see Nehal Vadera feature more often? And what does his exclusion tell us? 20 seconds.
I'm confused as much as the guy asking the question. I feel he should have played from the start. He did really well last season. and they made a mistake by not. And he should play consistently from here on.
All right. And finally, Tom Moody, Rajasthan Royals to finish in the top 2 now with the start they've got.
Yeah, I think Rajasthan are an absolute Monty to end up in the top 2. They're playing quality cricket. They've got a very well balanced side, and they've still got options on the bench they could bring in, which will only strengthen, or if not, strengthen, not certainly harm their campaign.
All right, that is a rapid fire review. Lovely visuals coming through from the Sawai Man Singh Stadium, where the Royals have actually done a little guard of honour and a lap around the ground and given the fans at Jaipur an appreciation, given this was their last home game at Jaipur for this season. They will now head on the road for 5 games, I think, on the trot, and then finish at an adopted home in Guwahati, where they started last year's campaign. So we see they won't get the comfort of playing at their home ground, but they've got such a good head start on some of the other teams in the IPL. Right, let's see how the impact zone shaped up today. Oh, Mitch McClenaghan. Very good. You didn't get the highest impact rating player today. That fell into my
It did, didn't it?
into my category by the process of elimination and by you reminding me of the rules. But Bumrah did enough. Jaiswal excellent, and Tilak Verma too. Mitch, are you pleased?
Yeah, I am pleased. Pleased to get the points, obviously. I need them desperately.
Yeah.
But
You're the only Mumbai Indian with a win today.
yeah. Jeez, that's tough, isn't it? Look, the most pleasing thing out of that is that Jaiswal got those points.
Yeah.
Because we've said it on this couch the whole time when we questioned about Jaiswal's form, is that he's not out of form, he's just out of runs. And he went about it the same way today, and I thought he was exceptional. So thank you, Jaiswal, and thank you, Wasim. You ran out of faith for him.
No, I picked him 5 times. He never. So I thought I'll pick somebody else.
Yeah, I picked him the other 2 times.
Yeah.
Well, look at that one more time. Just look at how the other players featured. Remember, ESPN looking for his impact points. Jaiswal highly rated over there. And Trent Bolt, very handy 76. Josh Butler as the impact sub. And Wasim, unfortunately, Parag didn't get his chance. Otherwise, if Mumbai would have taken the catches, that would have reduced Jaiswal's impact and would have given Parag a chance.
You still would have come last, though.
I know.
We've all gone negative now, so
Yeah, that's
welcome to
sweet.
the team.
Okay, on that note, quick look at the points table, shall we? And see where things stand. As Rajasthan, how good is that? 7 wins out of 8 for Sanju Samson and co. 14 points, healthy net run rate, though you still have Kolkata and Hyderabad who have the stronger net run rate, and those teams will play Rajasthan going forward. We have Mumbai now stuck in the pack of 6 points from 8 games, like Delhi Capitals, and just shy of Gujarat Titans. Tomorrow, what a massive game that is at the Chepauk between the Super Giants and the Super Kings, round 2, as the IPL now moves into the 8th set of games in the league stage. Right, this is where I thank Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan and Wasim Jaffer, gentlemen. It was a pleasure. We shall see you for what promises to be a really good game tomorrow. Download the mobile app if you haven't already. Have you covered with everything that's being said from the MI camp? I'm sure there will be plenty said as well after another defeat. And Mumbai Indians themselves now will, in fact, they continue to stay on the road. They'll play Delhi at the end of the week, then Lucknow, Rajasthan, 4 games on the road before moving to Guwahati. But it's a very happy team in pink, and they sit pretty atop the points table. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.